very warm welcome to all of you. My name is Dr. Imran, and welcome to Sobnot's free webinar. I hope you all guys are doing well wherever you are. I can imagine some of you are in the libraries, in the hostel rooms, at your workplace, at your comfort, at your home, and just enjoy this session. It will definitely help you in building your knowledge regarding the Plab journey, the UK journey actually. And today we have our sponsors, Mohiuddin Research Club, which is obviously located in Mohiuddin Islamic Medical College and Mehr, Kashmir. And obviously the other partner, Soban, which is obviously my company. I run this company. Please make sure that you have muted yourself so we don't have any interruption during the session. So today in this webinar, we are going to discuss a few main aspects and few fundamental aspects, or the pillars where every one of us have to come through, have to achieve step by step, and eventually we step into the NHS. So the first thing first, we are going to discuss Occupational English Language Test, which is abbreviated as OET. We can say OET. At the number 2, we're going to discuss Plab 1 and the UKMLA. At number 3, we're going to discuss about Plab 2. And at number 4, we're going to discuss about work and life NHS. If you guys have any question, you can ask at our WhatsApp page, at the WhatsApp group. So your question will be added at a particular time. We have a designated time for Q&As. Let's move to the next slide. So learning objectives are always important in terms of, when you are attending any tutorial, any sort of teaching, or any webinar, or for example, you always attend your lectures every day in your medical college. So learning objectives, we're gonna try to understand the basics of UK licensing examinations. Then we're gonna learn about the roadmap, which is always very important, and the roadmap will definitely helps you and leads you to wherever you want to go, and the goals that you have in your mind, which definitely helps you. So a little bit, I'm just bothered by these, admitting things. So I have to admit all these, candidates who are just waiting in the lobby. And number 3, we're going to discuss about, the platforms, the online learning platforms, perhaps for the Plab and UKMLA. Let's move on to the next slide. Let me introduce you to our panel today. So we have Dr. Mudassir Tahir. He's a junior doctor in stroke medicine at Royal Bournemouth Hospital, which is in the south of England. He is basically from Benazir Bhutto Medical College from Mehr, Kashmir, and he will be discussing OET. He also runs a online platform for OET. It's called OET by Dr. Mudassir. Next up, we have myself. My name is Soban Imran, and I am working as a locum doctor in General Internal Medicine at Manchester Foundation University Trust, which is in the northwest of England in Manchester City, and I'll be covering Plab 1 and UKMLA. Beg your pardon. We have in our panel Dr. Hassan Rizwan. He's a junior doctor in internal medicine also at Luton and Dunstable University Hospital, which is near London, and he will be covering Plab 2 today. Last but not the least, we have our senior Dr. Syed Hisham Hassan. He's a consultant general physician, GP at NHS Midlands, which includes Birmingham, Nottingham, and all those areas. And he will be covering today work and life in NHS England. So today, this session, we will be covering all these aspects, and I've already introduced you to our panel. This tutorial will be very, very pinpoint and very, very precise in terms of, all the academics and all those things that we're going to discuss today. So don't worry, we don't take your too much time. So we'll make it shorter as much as we can. So it is really important when you are going, to your destination, you must have an idea of the place where you are going. For example, if you're going to USA, you must have, have a basic knowledge of New York and all the other states. So similarly, if you are embarking yourself upon, NHS or the UK, so you must have a background knowledge where you are actually going and what are things like today. So talking about back in days, like 5 or 6 or 10 years ago, the situation in England was absolutely different, and today's situation is absolutely different because we are all living in post-COVID, and things are much difficult. I don't need to spend much of time on talking all these things. Without further ado, I would like to invite my first speaker. He's Dr. Syed Hisham Hassan. He's a GP in NHS England Midlands, and he will be discussing today about work and life balance. I'm just going to unmute him in a minute, and I'm just Dr. Hassan, you can unmute yourself and you can join now, please.
Perfect. Hello guys, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah to everyone. Right, so my name is Dr. Hassan, and Soban was generous to introduce me to the audience. Right, so I'm thankful to the coordinating team for the webinar, because they actually reshuffled the schedule because I had to catch a flight, unfortunately. So, but we thought like it might be a good idea to kind of just give you a bit of gist, like what it feels like to be working in NHS, and then of course then get you through to the process of nitty and gritty of like how the Plab and prerequisites works, like OET and IELTS. So absolutely thankful to the team. I think so they've done a splendid job. I'm very happy to be here. So bit about me to begin with. I won't be taking long because I don't want to be hindrance to the main panel. But so I moved to UK in 2017. I'm a pioneer badge from Mohiuddin Islamic Medical College, Mir Azad, Kashmir. I'm from Kashmir as a background, and from Bhimber to be precise, around that area. And I moved to UK in 2017. I followed the same journey as you guys are kind of embarking upon, apparently. So wish you good luck. So yes, Plab, and then moved to UK in 2017. I got into GP training in 2018. By 21, I was a qualified GP. At the moment, I'm working for 111 as an urgent care GP. I do hold the portfolio aspect of a general practice as well. I do work in practices. My special interests are joint injections and minor surgeries. So yeah, quite a lot of things are going on, honestly. So it's quite a difficult topic to summarize in about 15 minutes, the NHS and working in an NHS, and is it worth chasing a dream? So I got on board literally last night, and we had a coronation weekend, and it was actually a bank holiday today in UK. And I was actually working, and I just finished a shift at 4 o'clock. So I was been waiting for you guys to, get online. So I didn't have any time to prepare. So I thought it might be best idea if I actually don't look into anything, and I don't actually, want to go ahead with something that is not crude and not raw, and it's not coming straight from my heart. Because so I didn't want to sound monotonous with bit of a preparation as well. So I thought I'd just leave it, and I will be just brute honest, like how things are, and how it is, and is it worth chasing a dream? So we'll start with NHS, but before we kind of proceed forward, so the question window is open in the chat, okay? So make sure you guys drop a message to the chat box, So one of the moderators, I think so, Soban's running a show today, so he would be actually just filtering the questioning by yourself, and he would put forward some nice crispy 3 or 5 questions for me to answer for you guys. Right, so I'll be good to start out. You guys can probably hear me, so it's apparently it's no hiccups at the moment, so no one's raised hands or anything like that. So right, so the NHS. NHS National Health Services, as you would know, it's basically the health service for whole of the UK. It's got 3 main branches, which it kind of operates under one's NHS England, one's NHS Wales, and another one is NHS Scotland. So yeah, so these 3 NHS, but it's basically the NHS UK. So kind of just give you a kind of gist of what NHS is and how big of an organization you would be a part of if at all you come and follow your dream and do your Plab and you work as a doctor in the UK. So NHS is actually, so a bit of statistics to begin with. I would load you down with some numbers to kind of just to keep your interest in here. So NHS is actually 5th largest organization in whole of the world. So there are a couple of organizations in terms of employees, and some Chinese railways and Chinese defense organization or defense ministry, and the other one is McDonald's and Walmart. So number of employees the NHS has is about 1.7 million. So it kind of makes it 5th largest in whole of the world. Any organization works on a budget. So NHS England kind of caters for all the health needs for people from UK, basically. We have about 66 million population in UK, okay, and that is what is NHS caters for all the health needs. So the budget, as we speak, is basically public funded, so government funded. So I'll quote you an example for comparison as well, so you have a better understanding. So we've got 66 million of population of UK, and we've got a health service that is just dedicated for that 66 million, and the budget for health service is about 160 billion pounds for the year 2022-2023. So yeah, if you get a social care along with NHS is 180, but I'm solely speaking about 160 billion pounds, which is just for NHS. So it would be about, I'm not sure because pounds slightly stronger than dollars, so it might be about 170 billion dollars. So a yearly budget for that 66 million people and the whole of the organization. So for comparison, so as you would know, we mostly are from Pakistan. So so for comparison, Pakistan has a population of about 225 million, as opposed to UK has about 66 million. And unfortunately, of course, it's not as strong economically speaking. In terms of the healthcare budget, or I can't specifically, mention, but I do know the whole budget for Pakistan for last year was about $33 billion. So the healthcare, 170 billion, pounds or dollars versus whole of the budget for a country. So that's how big of organization NHS is. So it's absolutely free of cost, 5th largest in the world, and it caters for about 66 billion population. So if you would be a part of NHS, you would actually be catering for the UK population mainly. So moving forward, so that's basically kind of small introduction for NHS. What is the working in NHS feels like? So I usually would kind of divide NHS in 2 main branches. Okay, one's primary care, which I'm very proud to be part of. One's a hospital care or secondary or tertiary care. The primary care is basically backbone of the NHS. It caters for most of the patients that are seen. Actually, the hospitals, there are NHS trusts. Okay, so there are about 200 something hospital in whole of the UK, and there are about 6,500 GP surgeries. Now, basically primary care. GP surgeries, and the hospital and a GP surgery, they're run by doctors, and there are about 140,000 doctors in whole of the UK that are fully licensed to practice, which are to best of my knowledge. So, as I said, it highly is variable, like working in NHS, how you would feel, depend upon which side are you on, your primary care, which side on your hospital care. But there are certain things that do overflow, like work-life pattern, which is basically the core of the discussion is. So as I would say, it matters that what you're doing. So you can start in NHS, the life pattern would be different for a junior doctor. So what is a junior doctor? Junior doctor is any doctor who is actually doing his house job, what we call as a foundation training in UK. So it's about 2 years, foundation year 1 and foundation year 2. In Pakistan, it's just 1 year house job. So junior doctor, anybody who's in foundation year or in training, doesn't matter until they're consultant, are basically junior doctors. So you're consultant, fully qualified, in training, and you have junior doctors. Unfortunately, I have been kicked out of that bracket. I do feel old when Soban said I'm a senior, one of the seniors, but yes, I graduated about 8 or 9 years ago. So yeah, so that is basically the bracket of junior doctor and actually what a junior doctor encompasses. So life as a junior doctor, absolutely amazing. I think so. If you chase your dreams, there's nothing beautiful than chasing your own dream. Like if you want to be someone, if you want to become someone, actually, it's nothing more beautiful than that. So life as a junior doctor, even if you're a foundation trainee or you actually in trainee, you're actually a hallmark of what NHS education is. NHS, there's a side of NHS that deals with health education in England. Okay, so you're basically their baby when you're in training. So they look after you, they train you, they pay you, they look after your needs. You are actually their priority. So as a junior doctor, I know there has been a lot of hiccups recently with pays and etc., but that's an ongoing issue. But as overall, I would say as an international medical graduate, you're a lot looked after as a doctor in UK than I could imagine being as compared to my home country. So you definitely are prioritized as a doctor, as a trainee. So I would say absolutely amazing journey throughout the training. And even if you are embarking on either family medicine or primary care, either surgery and etc., or medicine. So so as a consultant, of course, there's a jump on around what you get paid, and your lifestyle improves. At the same time, you do have certain other responsibilities. But in nutshell, it is amazing. But it depends upon what do you prioritize. It's highly variable to person, and it can't be a one size one fit all kind of situation. So it's really variable. So, but in nutshell, I can actually tell you that if you're happy from inside, nothing around you would matter. So just kind of seek self-contentment and self-happiness in whatever you're doing and plan forward. So nothing, as I said, nothing better than chasing your dream and then working for it. So personally speaking, I had a beautiful time. I moved cities, I moved countries, Pakistan to here, I moved cities, multiple cities, and I'm settled in Midlands. I'm moving to London soon. So on the go basically. So world is your oyster. If you're a doctor in UK. So yeah, that's actually a footnote. World is your oyster. So if you're a doctor in UK. So yeah, anything is achievable career-wise, things like that. So you can change your life, you can change your family's life. So you've got a chance. So make sure you avail it. Okay, don't let it go. So be there. So that's the beautiful side of the NHS. What's the uglier Not sure I shouldn't say the word ugly because it's too strong. What's the somehow what we call as, you know, challenging side of NHS? You see, you're a doctor. It's a cutthroat kind of environment. You need to be competent. You need to be good. You need to be knowledgeable. And you need to compete at one of the world-class healthcare systems. So what I have learned as a trainee and now as a trainer regarding international medical graduates, that are kind of pitfalls they have, I can actually think of two major pitfalls from top of my head. One's linguistic barrier. I think so. A lot of international medical graduates, they struggle with their English. They are not as well versed with how what the challenges of linguistics would be actually in UK. I'll give you an example. Why I think so. Looking back retrospectively, I think so. It's we don't do ourselves a favor in Pakistan. It's because when we get studied in an English medium, our mother tongue is Urdu, and we understand that, we do accept that, and it's basically our main language. But at the same time, we do have a bit of an identity crisis when it comes to, you know, conversing. One should be able to converse fluently in Urdu. One should be able to converse fluently in English. So make sure that you work towards, you know, conversing fluently in English, and work really hard. Something that is basically a hiccup is American influence in Pakistani students. So we watch Hollywood movies. I'm sorry to say, American manners are nowhere near the English manners. So you need to make sure that you do get familiarized with, or acclimatize yourself with English manners. They are very polite people. Not saying Americans are rude, but still at the same time, England is known for its manners and politeness. So make sure, you know, all the sympathy, empathy that we talk about in consultations, and we talk about, you know, patient and your own professional conduct. So it comes with that. So get yourself familiarized with a lot of English content that I would actually advise you. So linguistic is something that I would say is a huge pitfall. So make sure you're good at it. The type of English that we speak in Pakistan is actually quite bookish. So, you know, if you can't do a small talk, don't think about it. You don't need to do a speech. It's basically basic English that you need to be good at. You need to be well versed with little, you know, stop words and stock words, and you know, things that such as what I've just filled up with and things like that. So basically, you know, you need to have that weaponry of vocabulary in yourself, like in terms of, you get stuck, you can. So linguistic is something that you need to focus on. So we international medical graduates actually do suffer from that pitfall, unfortunately. The second thing is cultural shock. So yeah, we're from different culture. I have a feeling after being here, you should be unapologetically Muslim. That's your religion. You can't actually compromise on that. At the same time, I think so you need to embrace that the culture that UK offers you. So we do see international medical graduates. They do have a lot of culture shock, and they do seem like they are kind of misfit for the you know, environment. And the sooner they realize, you know, and the sooner they stop to become Caucasian or act white, the better, actually. So you need to embrace wherever you come from, and embrace that, accept that, and give you know, good vibes to people, basically. So don't get surprised. Take it slow. Don't get too excited. The adrenaline can get better off a lot of people. I still, you know, can see a lot of people struggling with cultural shock. They see, you know, they're misfit for the environment. No, you're not. Just be honest to yourself. Never be afraid to learn new things. We're from a different country, and we struggle with a lot of other things in country. And then, you know, this country is actually a different ball game. So yeah, I would say, just be honest to yourself. Just acclimatize slowly. Take things slowly and learn. So cultural shock is one, and linguistics, two pitfalls I've seen in my peers and my trainees. So yeah, this is what I usually recommend them. So moving forward, I don't remember what was the third thing. Is it worth chasing the dream? Absolutely, yes. Thank you, Soban. So yes, I think so. Being passionate. Please make sure you don't waste time. Honestly, the world out there would engulf you with and chew you out and spit you. So be passionate. Um, be be determined, and make sure that you do everything in your power to get where you want to be, and just leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for him to give you success. So I would say make sure that you are the best, or you try to be the best, and that's how you would exceed and excel. So I'm gonna cut short my, because I'll just keep on going. But I do praise the team who've kind of started this webinar. So well done, guys. I think so. This needs more discussion moving forward, but hopefully in a more detailed and more focused manner. And I'm not rushing through as well. So do we have any questions, Soban, please, if that's okay?
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions.
Go for it.
Yeah, Dr. Shahwez Ali Baloch, I think he's from Medical College, and he's asking about the grabbing job after registration, and what we're going to do to make our resume outstanding.
Okay.
And
Okay, yes, I know Shahwez. I did a bit of a demonstratorship in my college, and he was it was first year, probably, I think so. It was first year, second year, yeah. So yes, so back to business. Grabbing, yes, you have to apply multiple jobs. There are plenty of jobs in UK. There was a study in about 2017-18. UK is the largest exporter, not importer, the exporter of the doctors after Luxembourg in Europe. So there are plenty. So there's a vacuum. So apply as many jobs as you can. Doesn't matter. You can start in surgery, medicine, gynae, peds, A&E, things like wherever you want to start. Get into NHS, and then you can make your way from doing jump jobs, even psychiatry, honestly. So you have to apply to 20, 25, 30 jobs. Honestly, you have to just keep on applying, and there would be one or two that would come to you. So they are slightly restricted in terms of visas and this and that, but all of the NHS trusts are visa employers. So they would sponsor you. So keep on, absolutely get that registration as soon as possible. Keep on applying on NHS job. I think so. That is used to be in my era. I'm not sure if something's changed. That's about it. So go for it, and it's very, very good to work in UK. But and resume wise, just be honest, nothing. So what you've done in 5 years, and postgraduate experience, and people who would need you wouldn't, they don't pass or fail you. Okay, they know he's a doctor from Pakistan. He would have X amount of pitfalls, whatever. He wouldn't know anything about audit or clinical governance and things like that. They understand. So prepare yourself for interview. There's plenty of blogs over there. So nothing fancy. You don't need to put your photo Shahwez on there to impress the hospital. So just be honest.
Yeah, another doctor. Yeah. She's Dr. Maria, and she has a pretty much same question regarding what specifically they need to mention in the CV. The job.
Nothing. Yeah. Mention you're an MBBS doctor. You've worked 6 months in somewhere. You got a certificate, and you are very excited to come to UK. You've cleared your Plab, and you're looking for next opportunity. Nothing fancy. Don't put designs over on your CV. Just be specific.
Yeah, and we just wait for a few moments for somebody who's going to ask question. Please ask questions. We're just going to wait for...
That's okay. Nobody's interested in
Farhan. Dr. Farhan. He's asking, would you mind telling me why did you choose to be a GP?
Okay, fantastic.
Instead of an MRCP, to be precise.
Absolutely fantastic. So I'll quote you an example of a person. So he got into medical college, okay? He got into medical. He's a very good student, okay? I know him personally. He topped 4 professionals out of 5. Absolutely brilliant guy. Wanted to, you know, become or an orthopedic surgeon or anesthetist, or do like, you know, ICU plus anesthetist, like something really mouthful, you know. Came to UK, saw what's happening. Wanted to have like question himself, like why does he want to work in UK and why is he here? So better lifestyle, better money, and things like that. And then I didn't really you know, like how hospital medicine was you know, kind of feeling like. So went into GP training and has never actually questioned his decision. Now that person is actually myself, okay? And you know, I changed my plans in about 6 months, honestly. I thought like GP, a general practice, or, you know, being in family medicine can actually provide me with a very, very good work-life balance. But I think so does the hospital medicine. So I'm not going to talk this hospital medicine out, because there's nothing secondary to passion. There's nothing that you can actually not do to secure what you're passionate about. If you're passionate about gynae, go into gynae, surgery, medicine, whatever. My passion was my family. I realized that, and my passion was my lifestyle. I wanted to keep that sort of, you know, but I thought GP would give me that lifestyle, which is given me. So I wanted to, but this is absolutely, I'm going to tell you this. When we talk about, kids from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and South Asian, even Egypt, I've noticed. So there's nothing, there's no concept of a primary care in Pakistan. There's just a concept of, you know, you become a medical specialist, and that's about it. There's no medical specialists in the UK. So basically the medical specialists are the GPs, because they're the generalists. So we have super specialty nephrologists, stroke medicine, gastroenterologists, cardiologists, things like that, rheumatologists. So there's no concept of medical specialists. So you don't just do MRCP, you just do super specialization. So we are that. So as I said, we're the backbones. So mainly was my motivation to become a GP was to what the lifestyle it would offer. So yeah, money is on the sidelines, but yeah, the lifestyle, I would say. But please don't get discouraged to chase hospital medicine, because all people, you know, chase that. I'm a portfolio GP. I really like an urgent care. I do minor surgeries, you know, I do a bit of a plastics and things like that. So I've developed a portfolio, so I'm like into many things. Go for it. Next one, if we have any.
Yeah, we've got another question from Dr. Sumaya Khwaja. And she's asking about the foundation year program, you know, the FY1, which is specifically designed for the UK graduates who just get into, you know, the hospital.
Yeah, so foundation year is divided into 2. So as a Plab, you know, candidate, I would say first thing that you need to do is complete your house job. Please do not leave it, okay? So that's your ticket to GMC and Plab, basically, honestly. To complete your house job, if there's 4th year, 5th year, and then thinking they're going to skip the house job. Foundation year, you know, sponsorships are very, very little. A lot of money goes to European Union, you know, kids. So up till when we were till Europe, I'm not too sure, but they're very, very little. A lot of it goes to the graduates, and even the foundation year 2 jobs. So unless you hold a passport or nationality of UK, there's very little chance that you will be given an opportunity for a foundation year. You would come as a senior house officer, which is an SHO, or a trust grade doctor, which is just a 1 year, a 2 year postgraduate experience, and you would start at the level of a foundation year 2 doctor, and then you would just, you know, and then move up, work there for a few months, get into training. So that's how it happens. So get your house job, John. Sumaya.
Yeah, so another question from Dr. Sardar Shariar, and he's asking mainly about the cultural difference between the UK and USA in particular. And he's asking in terms of, you know, when you are medical graduates from Pakistan,
yeah,
obviously.
How would you know? Yeah.
Yeah. How would you
Yeah.
imagine,
So
difference between US and UK?
I'll tell you. So I personally, I haven't been to USA. Okay, so I'm probably not the best person to ask, but I wanted to go to USA. Okay, and we had our. I studied for USMLE all my 5 years. Okay, but if it wasn't for my auntie, who actually blackmailed me coming to UK, that she would come under a bus if I would have to go to US basically. There is no relatives there, so I wouldn't have come to UK. But I think so. I've made the best decision. Absolutely amazing country. I love the people. They're really good. I actually don't mind the weather, but although the UK weather is a bit has got a bad reputation. Culturally, it's very, very diverse. You have no idea how diverse a UK culture is. You can get a halal food takeaway any nook and corner. I live in a very white dominated town. I've got about 11 takeaways that I can go and eat from. I've got a mosque here. So UK provides a lot of diversity, a lot of people from different walks of life, and it's very small. So you can fly here and there. You can drive to the nearest beach in UK. US, on the other hand, does have limitation due to its size and communities. It's does not hold the best reputation for policing. UK police is known for recently they have been in a bad rep, but they're really good justice system. So culturally, I would say what you see in movies, just compare. You watch a Hollywood movie, and then watch a UK movie. Just a UK movie. Watch James Bond. You know the difference. Yep.
Thank you
Do
so
we have
much.
anything?
Yeah,
Perfect.
this
Can
is
I go
everything.
now?
Yeah, you can go and
All right.
yeah.
Okay. Have me sometime other so we can sit together. We can have discussion. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely. Just looking forward.
Lads and lasses, girls and boys, we'll take leave and take care. Bye bye now. Bye
Take care,
now.
bro.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
No problem.
Allah Hafiz. So he was Dr. Hisham Hassan from NHS Midlands, and he was GP, and I'm thankful to him. He's been amazing, and he has, I think, answered a few of the questions which have been asked by you guys. And a lot of people are asking about the Plab and the other things like electives and CV and the other things. So we're going to discuss all these things at the end. So let's move to our next speaker. So he's a Dr. Mudassir, and he is going to discuss about the occupational English language test, which is very, very important in your Plab journey, and you have to pass this test and otherwise you can't really take and book Plab 1 seat. So over to Dr. Mudassir. He's in England at the minute, and yeah, you can speak now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Soban Imran, and I hope all of you are fine. So I'm gonna speak up on occupational English test. So let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Mudassir Tahir, and I am a graduate of Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto Shaheed Medical College, Mirpur, Azad, Kashmir. And basically, I belong to one of the villages of Kashmir that is known as Rawalakot. Currently, I am in United Kingdom and working in NHS as a junior clinical fellow in general medicine, to be very precise, strokes medicine. So I know there would be many questions in all of your minds regarding occupational English test. So I'm just gonna give you a quick review of occupational English test, and my focus will be on the question and answer sessions. I'll take up your questions and I will address them accordingly. So to start with a brief introduction of occupational English test. Basically, occupational English test is a language barrier that you people need to cross before sitting and before applying or sitting in the Plab exams. In my opinion, this is the most important step in this UK roadmap, because a language barrier is always difficult than I would say the medical knowledge or the Plab exams. So it's always a difficult task to do for the Pakistani graduates. But I assure you that it's though it's difficult, but it's not impossible. You can prepare this exam in 40 to 60 days, and I have seen many people who had prepared their exam or occupational English test exam in just 30 days. So and the passing ratio of occupational English test is very, very good. I don't have any formal figure from the occupational English OET officials, but as far as my experience is concerned, because I have been teaching occupational English test from last 3 years, since February 2020. So unfortunately, I had to discontinue it because of my work-life balance. But as far as my experience is concerned, I have seen that anyone who is keen to pass OET exam will eventually pass this exam, definitely pass this exam. Yes, few people of few of you will have to pass it on your second attempt, and rarely on the third attempt. But this is not something that is not doable or not achievable. The most frequently asked question when we talk about OET is it's all about the speaking. Everyone is concerned that the speaking module will be very much difficult, and it seems that the people they believe that they are okay with the reading module, listening module, and writing module, but they're concerned about the speaking module. But to be honest, let me reassure you that the easiest module of occupational English test is the speaking module, and and then the writing comes, and then comes listening and reading. So let's talk about the difference between occupational English test and the IELTS exam. Obviously, IELTS exam is cheaper than OET, but I will not recommend you people to go for IELTS. Few of you people are competent enough to pass your IELTS exam in your first attempt, but then it depends individually. I am not gonna recommend you to go for IELTS instead of occupational English test. Why? Because occupational English test is designed for the doctors. It's designed for the medical professionals. The biggest difference between OET and IELTS is in IELTS they test your English language skills, but in in OET exam they test your medical knowledge in English. So there is a difference between the two exams. So to be very precise, OET, in OET exam they assess your medical English. So I hope this is making sense to you. Medical English is something that you are already familiar with. In IELTS, they take literature from any of the subjects. Like they can take literature from accounting, from different research, from political science, from any subjects. There is wide range of subjects that they can take material from. But in occupational English test, the material or the literature will be from your medical field. So it will be quite easier for you people to understand and pass this exam. So moving forward, both of these exams have 4 parts: reading, listening, writing, and speaking. Okay, so basically, in the OET exam, it's a English language exam for the healthcare professionals, as I mentioned earlier, and it includes the real workplace scenarios for healthcare professionals. From by real workplace scenarios, I mean that uh, there will be conversations between doctors and nurses. There will be research from our uh, from our own subjects, medicine, and then in OET, the good thing about OET is in its writing module. I I know you all of you people have heard about the writing module of IELTS. It's really difficult to get 7.5 bands in writing module of IELTS. But the good news is it's quite easier to get B grade in OET, that is required by General Medical Council, Irish Medical Council, and American board, that is EPIC, I guess. So and why writing module of the OET is easier than the IELTS? Because in OET writing module, you are supposed to write a referral letter or a discharge letter, So this is something that you people are already familiar with, because you have to, you have been discharging people in your house jobs, or in your hospital settings. So it will be much easier for you people to get the required score in the writing module of occupational English test. Now I will briefly tell you about the fee structure of occupational English test. If we compare OET with IELTS, IELTS is much cheaper than the OET, but you know, investing into OET is worth it. So I would recommend you to go for OET rather than looking into the into the cheap fee of IELTS. So the fee for OET is 587 Australian dollars, which means that it's 1,13,000 rupees in Pakistan nowadays. Unfortunately, as our economy and our rupee has gone down, so it's like it will cost you about 1,13,000. But again, if you will go for IELTS, it would be much difficult for you people to pass IELTS in your first attempt. Not all of you, but many of you. So I would recommend you to go for OET. So moving toward the next section. So now I am going to talk about individual modules of occupational English test. I will just briefly go through them, and then I will take your questions. So number 1 is listening. In the listening part, you will be given 40 minutes of time, and there are a total of 42 MCQs, and there will be 3 parts: part A, part B, part C. Now, what will gonna happen in the exam is you will be listening some audios on the headphones, and then you have to write the answers what you have been asked for on the answer sheet, on the response sheet. So you have to do it simultaneously. You will be listening to the audios, and you are at the same time you will be answering to the questions. So it's a bit of a difficult task, but with proper practice you are gonna do this task quite easily. So there are total 42 marks in listening part, and you have to score 30 marks, which means that out of 42 MCQs, you have to correct 30 MCQs in order to secure B grade in listening module, which is obviously the requirement for General Medical Council, Irish Medical Council, and other medical boards across world. So in listening module, part A will have 24 MCQs, part B will have 6 MCQs, and part C will have 12 MCQs. So there will be a total of 42 MCQs. So part A contains consultation extracts. I'm not going into detail of these, but I'm just giving you an overview. Part A will contain consultation extracts. Part B will contain short workplace extracts, and part C will contain presentation extracts. So this is a brief overview of listening module. Now I'm moving towards the next module, which is a reading module. In reading module, you will be given 60 minutes of time, and this will be a back-to-back activity. You know, once you are finished with your listening module, you will be given a reading test straight away. There is no break in between. So 60 minutes will be there in your reading module, and again there are 42 MCQs. Out of 42 MCQs, you have to correct 30 MCQs in order to secure B grade. And again, this is the requirement for GMC, IMC, and boards, medical boards across the world. So in reading module, there are 3 parts: part A, part B, part C. Part A contains 20 MCQs, part B contains 6 MCQs, sorry, and part C contains 16 MCQs. So a total of 42 MCQs, and you have to correct 30 MCQs out of these 42 MCQs in order to secure B. Okay, so part A of reading module will be a expeditious reading task, which means that in part A of reading module, they will not only gonna judge your language skills, reading skills. They are also gonna check your your speed as well. You have to be very, very speedy while doing part A of your reading module, because time management will be very, very important in part A of your reading module. Though part A of the reading module is the easiest part out of the 3 parts, which are part A, B, and C. Part A is the most easiest one in reading module, but obviously if you are able to manage the time. So with proper practice, you are gonna achieve this target quite easily. So then part B and C, okay, so what happens in reading module, once you are finished with your part A, they will take away the part A from you, and they will gonna give you part B and C. And for part A, they will give you 15 minutes, and for part B and C, they are gonna give you combined 45 minutes. So a total of 1 hour, 60 minutes. So once the 15 minutes are gone, they will take back part A from you people, and then they will gonna give you part B and C, which will have combined 45 minutes. So you have to secure 30 out of 42 in order to secure B grade. So moving towards the writing module, in writing module, you will be given 45 minutes. And again, this module will be a back-to-back activity. There will be no break between listening, reading, and writing module. So in writing module, there are different types of letters which you are supposed to write. What happens in the exam is that you will be given with case notes. There will be 2 sheets which we call as case notes. In those case notes, there will be patient's history, patient's past medical history, history, patients presenting complaints, why the patient is being referred, what sort of medical attention the patient needs, if there is if that is a referral letter. So there are different types of letters in writing module. Number one is referral letter. Number two is discharge letter. Number three is transfer letter, which obviously means a transfer of the patient from one hospital, either from one hospital to another hospital, or one ward of the same hospital to another ward. So transfer letter, then an update letter, and then comes the GP to GP letter. There's a type of letter in which one GP writes a letter to another GP, and there is another type of letter which comes in OET writing module, which is known as specialist to specialist or consultant to consultant referral. One consultant is going to refer a patient to another consultant. So this is known as consultant to consultant referral. So there are, as a whole, there are 6 types of referrals which you can encounter in OET writing module. But obviously, mostly they give referral letters. 90% of the exams contain referral letters, or you can say 95% of the exams contains referral letters. And few exams, in few exams they are gonna give you discharge letter or an update letter, or might be a transfer letter, or GP to GP or consultant to consultant letter, but they are rare. So 95% of the times, you will gonna encounter a referral letter in occupational English test. So there is a proper OET writing criteria against which they mark your letter. Okay, so I'm not gonna go into the details of that criteria, but what I am doing is I am going to upload these criterias with you people in WhatsApp group. You can download it from there. So I have uploaded these criterias in the WhatsApp group. You can download it from there. Okay, so what happens, in writing module, there are six criterias against which they mark you, and then at the end they will give you a score depending on those marking criterias. So what are those 6 marking criterias? Number 1 is purpose. Number 2 is content. Number 3 is conciseness and clarity. Number 4 is genre and style. Number 4 is organization and layout. Number 6 is language. So they are going to, the occupational English test team will judge you against these 6 criterias, and then they will decide that what grade should be given to your letter. And trust me, it is the most easiest, one of the most easiest module of the occupational English test. If I rank, from easy to hard, the most easy one is speaking module, then writing module, then listening module, and then reading module. So the reading module is a tricky module, in occupational English test. So you have to be, very, very precise and accurate and dedicated while you are preparing for occupational English test. You have to prepare, a lot. You have to do a lot of practice for reading module and listening module as compared to writing and speaking module. But obviously, every module has the equal importance. Why? Because if if you get failed in one of the modules, you have to appear in all four modules in the on your next attempt. So in that context, you know, all of these four modules have equal importance, but based on the difficulty level, most difficult one is reading, then comes listening, then comes writing, then comes speaking. Speaking is the most easiest part, then comes the writing. So I hope I am understandable to all of you. So moving towards the next section. So the next module is, and the last module is speaking module. You will be given 20 minutes in the speaking module. There will be 2 role plays. In writing module, we have seen that they will be giving you the, you know, case notes, and in speaking module, they will give you the speaking case notes. It's a kind of case notes as well, speaking case notes, which we call as a role play, speaking role play. So there will be 2 role plays in your speaking module, and you have to pass both of these in order to pass your speaking module. And so there are 2 criterias in the speaking module. Number 1 is known as linguistic criteria, and number 2 is I'm sorry, let me look into it. So the number 1 is linguistic criteria, and number 2 is clinical communication criteria. I have uploaded both of these in the WhatsApp group. I hope you will find helpful. You will find it helpful for you. So in speaking module, as I mentioned earlier, that there will be 2 role plays, and you will be given 3 minutes to prepare those role plays, and then 5 minutes to do that role play. So 3 minutes to prepare the role play, the case notes that will be given to you, known as role plays. You will be given 3 minutes to prepare that, and then you will be given 5 minutes to do that role play or complete that role play. So you have to speak with one of the interlocutors. Interlocutor is a person who will be sitting at front of you, and he will not be an examiner. He will not be judging you or examining you. He is just a dummy role player. He will be just doing a patient role play, and you will be doing the doctor's role play. All of the conversation will be recorded in a small radio. Your video will not be recorded. Your audio will be recorded. That audio will be sent to headquarters of the OET, and then they will gonna assess your speaking role plays against those criterias which I have uploaded in the WhatsApp group. So this is all from my side regarding occupational English test. I hope you people have find it helpful. Now I am open to any sort of questions. If you have any queries, any questions, you can ask.
Yeah, Dr. Muddassir, we have got a few questions. Dr. Adil Abbasi is asking, during exam, listening speed of audio is the same as a JSON files, or it differs?
Sorry, can you please repeat the question, Dr. Soban? Sorry.
Yeah, so he's asking that, we start, normally people start preparing from JSON files, which is, very popular. And he's asking, if what the listening speed is similar to the actual exam, or it differs, because a lot of people go online on YouTube. Yeah, so they listen to the listening. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a very very popular question. Basically, if I compare the difficulty level of JSON files, to be very precise, listening JSON files with the actual exam, I would say that the real exam listening, would be very, very clear in quality. and that would be much easier than the Jashan files. I would not say much easier, but if I compare it with Jashan files, it would be much clear and much easier than the Jashan files, as I have experienced. The difficulty level of Jashan files is quite it's quite difficult.
And he's also asking about any pro tip for reading Part A, because he's struggling in reading Part A. So he's keen on looking forward to have some strategies. There are a lot of strategies. So please.
Okay, so the number one strategy is, if you are struggling with Part A, obviously the main task, the most important task in Part A of OET is to manage the time management. You have to complete all those 20 MCQs in 15 minutes. So in order to achieve that target, you have to do a lot of practice. Try to practice more Part A's than Part B's and C's. What you can do is you can just practice Part A's and leave Part B and C. This is number one tip. Second tip, you can do you can solve Part A of the English occupational English test reading module from question number 8 to question number 21st, and then come to question number 1 to 7. So this will save much of your time.
Yeah, so similarly, one of our member, Ikra Jabbar, she's asking about the tips for Part B and C of the reading.
So for Part B and C, obviously, the foremost tip will be, if you are good on Part A, leave it behind, just practice Part B and C. This is the first tip. And the second tip is, this is very, very important tip for all of you. So you are, I'm the tip that I am going to reveal with you people. You have to apply this tip on next 5 reading modules. I'm talking about Part B and C particularly. So you have to apply this tip on the next 5 reading module reading tests, and this will gonna increase your score. So what you have to do is leave the time machine aside. Leave the time machine aside. Don't clock your test. What you have to do is solve the MCQs one by one. I mean, if you are doing Part B of reading module, do question number 1, look into the answer key. If that question number 1 of part B is correct, then move forward to the question number 2. If that the answer to the question number 1 is wrong, incorrect, read it again, solve it again, and analyze that what mistake you did, and why the answer that is given in the key is the correct answer. So do question number 1, then go towards the question number 2, look into the key, go to question number 3, look into the key, go to question number 4, look into the key, complete your Part B, then go to Part C, and again do the same thing with Part C. Solve question number 1, look into the answer key. If it is correct, move towards the question number 2. If it is incorrect, look into it, analyze it, and judge yourself, and analyze where were you wrong and why the answer given in the key is the correct one. For it will take around maybe 2 hours, but it is worth doing it. I hope I'm making sense to you people.
Yeah, this seems to be a bit daunting for all those who are just, in final year medical school, or they are just preparing for OET. But rest assured, we're gonna upload this whole, session on the YouTube, and we'll provide you with the link, so you can always come on YouTube and watch whenever you want. Another question is, a lot of people are asking about, for the FY1 standalone, the UK Foundation Program standalone. So the criteria for that is a little bit higher than obviously, the Plab route. So a lot of people are a bit struggling with IELTS. They've got 7, some of them have got 8 as a whole, and then less marking in writing module. So what is actually the breakthrough dose for this pain?
It's quite a severe pain. Even morphine will not gonna work for this. But this is something that I would not recommend. You people, the standalone program, because the standalone program, the criteria for standalone program is to secure A grades in your occupational English test, or 7.5 each, and a total of 8 in your IELTS exam. So it's a quite a difficult task to do. I will not recommend you people, but if one of you people is trying to be on this journey, then I will recommend that go for IELTS, don't go for OET, because in securing A grades in OET is quite a difficult task as compared to securing overall 8 bands in IELTS exam. So I will recommend go for IELTS if you are looking forward to the standalone program. But if you are looking to for standalone program itself contains 2 years, and then 1 year will be wasted in applying the standalone program, and 6 months will be wasted in passing your language barrier. So as a whole, it is not a worth journey to do. I would recommend to complete your house job in your home country, in your own hospitals, prepare for OET, prepare for IELTS, prepare for Plab 1, Plab 2, and then come to United Kingdom.
Yeah, and also please could you share us about the resources? So a lot of people are asking about which resources they would use for OET.
So so particularly, I will not recommend you. I'm not gonna recommend you any particular source. There are few resources that are doing good in the market. You can go for Jashan. You can go for E2. E2 is one of the leading OET channels on YouTube as well, and they have a very good resource as well. And there is another one, Benchmark, but I will recommend you to go for the offline versions of these resources. If you get into the offline resources, it will be more cheaper for you and easier for you, because the online versions are they are a bit expensive. So go for the offline versions and go for Jashan, Benchmark, E2, and then OET official. In market you can get OET official OET books in offline versions, pirated versions.
Yeah, and some of our members is asking about how much time they would dedicate for the OET, and yeah.
So it depends individually on your individual capacities, on your individual circumstances, on your individual language skills. But on an average, it takes 40 days. 40 days would be more than enough if you are dedicated to occupational English test. It would be more than enough to most of you, but few can take more, like 15 or 20 days more. So keep it a window of 40 to 60 days. But to be very precise, 40 days on an average are more than enough.
Right. If someone else have any other questions, so we could get answer from Dr. Mudassir. If you just just pop in your questions quickly. No, that's it. Thank you so much, Dr. Mudassir, for your time today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Best of luck.
Have a lovely rest of your day, and we'll keep in touch, and possibly we're going to do another webinar, and we'll definitely invite you.
I will be looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Right, guys, thank you so much to be in our tutorial, because it's getting a little bit, longer than we expected, actually. So let's move on to our next section. Right, so next section is obviously, I'll be covering this section, and let me just give you a brief, introduction of myself. My name is Dr. Soban Imran, and I'm also graduate from, Mohiuddin Islamic Medical College in 2020. And after that, I did, OET, Plab 1, Plab 2, and I am working as a junior doctor in Manchester Royal Infirmary, which is part of Manchester Foundation University Trust in Manchester. So today I'll be covering Plab 1. Which is Professional and Linguistic Assessment Board. So before starting this, let me tell you, I'm going to take questions at the end of my session, and we'll definitely answer all those questions. A lot of people are asking about the MRCP and other things, so I'll make sure that I'll answer. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So let's discuss what actually is the Plab, because a lot of students who are in final year, in fourth year, they are making up their minds to embark upon, this not difficult, easy journey. But likewise, they always have some stigma, and it's really hard for them to cope, as obviously we've been seeing that a lot of things going on in Pakistan, a lot of things going on in terms of COVID, and obviously a lot of people have to take NLE, and there is a bit of misinformation regarding the regulatory body, which is PMDC and PMC. Anyways, so this exam, which is called Plab, is based on the clinical knowledge. So a lot of people, have a question why, they're gonna assess us on clinical knowledge, because they already set out in their guideline that they will see you as a, as a doctor, as a clinical doctor. They will assess your core knowledge, and they will assess your behaviors and skills. So this is fairly and solely based on clinical knowledge, not like USMLE, which assesses your basic sciences in USMLE Part 1. Okay. So just an overview, Plab 1 constitutes of 180 multiple choice questions, and you have to answer these in 3 hours, in 180 minutes. I imagine, yeah, 180 minutes. So you could take a break of 5 minutes to go into toilet. And then these are obviously, the clinical questions, which could be about any disease, for example, pharyngitis, a scenario on heart failure, a scenario on, your workspace. So this is all about the Plab 1, and which is all about the clinical knowledge that you have, and you will definitely study the clinics in your final years. So a very important question in terms of Plab 1 is, it's a dilemma nowadays, if I'm able to book a Plab 1 seat or not. A lot of people have had their, OET expired in, the COVID times, and after that they will, they did a very good job in terms of, extending the dates of expiry by GMC, which is a very good initiative from them. But note this date, the 2nd of November, 2023, which is just a few months ahead of us. So on the 2nd of November, they will open a window, and they will definitely update all the information regarding the window, and your OET test, and all the other things that you really need in terms of bank card, which bank card you use, which bank card you can't use. So make sure that you note this date and start preparing in advance. And yeah, this is the date. And obviously after that there will be a lot of things ongoing. And we will definitely discuss about the UKMLA shortly. Yeah. So it's very vital and very important to know that for the Plab one, you have to have MBBS degree. It's like you can give this test, you can take this test whilst you are in your house job, but you have to have your final year's result card with you, not the medical degree itself, just the script. And the other thing, which is OET, B grades in all, as the Dr. Mudassir said, B grades in all the modules, and IELTS, which is 7 in each, not less than 7 in each module. So these are the two basic criterias for the Plab one. Plab one fee has recently been increased. It's £255, which is approximately 92,000 Pakistani rupees. So make sure that you have this much amount in your bank card when you are, going to apply for. Perhaps you are going to book your seat. So this much amount you have to have in your bank card. Yeah, obviously, like I said before, get your OET results with you well before, and set up a GMC account, which is very easy. It's same like a Google account or the Facebook account. You just have to sign up. You just have to give your college name, your credentials, your passing year, and all those things. And they verify your details, and after that they will active your account. And in that account, under the section test booking, you can book the test. Okay. And in terms of, like I said before, that keep an eye on GMC Facebook and Twitter handles. They always, update. And nowadays they have started another service, which is GMC WhatsApp. You can just message them, and one of the team member from the GMC registration teams, he will answer all of your queries. And here I would like to mention that a lot of people, like myself, I had a gap in my house job. I was in UK and I stuck there because of the COVID, and I couldn't come back to restart my house job. So if you ring GMC, tell your situation, and they have a very nice, and a very good feedback system. They will give you a sort of feedback number, a receipt for your query, and you can use that query when you are applying for your GMC registration after your Plab examination. So make sure you tell everything to GMC. They are very kind people. They will always try to help you. They will always try to be with you wherever you need them. And feel free to talk with them. And let me tell you, 5 weeks of gap in house job with the proper reason is acceptable. Sometimes due to certain special requirements and special circumstances, where some of the doctors had a roadside accident, or he can't really going into his house job, and he has a gap in his house job, and his documentations has a gap actually. So you just tell them at the beginning of your gap, and they will make sure that you don't have any troubles while you are applying for your registration, the full license for the GMC. Right. So here's a very important and a very burning question, very demanding question. Actually, what's the difference between Plab and UKMLA? So Plab is obviously, all of us know that's it's MCQ's exam, and like any other exam we take, like MRCP. So Plab is absolutely, Plab 1 is absolutely a similar exam. And then why they have incorporated another exam, which is UKMLA. So if you go onto the GMC website, they have set out clear instructions, which are very, very clear, that we are not going to change the structure of Plab 1. The only thing they are going to change is obviously they will change the structure, but in coming years, not in 2024 actually. So the Plab is actually a test of your core knowledge, the clinical knowledge that you have, the skills and the behaviors. And also the UKMLA is also a test, is a similar test, is actually 110% similar test, which will also test your core knowledge, clinical knowledge, skills and behaviors. So there will be no change in the Plab 1 and the UKMLA. There will be a slightly minor change, but the the marking strategies, the time, the number of questions would remain the same. So you don't need to worry. Just prepare normally. Just prepare wherever you are preparing. So the resources for the Plab 1. So first come first, Plabable, which is world-renowned, a website, a very good website, have a very nice interface, have a very nice layout, a theme, user-friendly. They have different sections. They have 16 mock exams. You can take mocks when you finished individual, the modules. And after that, you have a nice, green and red buttons where you can see green is correct and red is false. And you have a percentage how much you are scoring. So this is a number one resource. Number two resource is Plab 1 keys. Plab 1 keys is basically notes, I could say. Notes that normally we could take in final year medical school when we are taking lectures from the medicine, from the medicine subject. We normally take notes, and these are the pretty much same notes. So in terms of the clinical knowledge, what I said before, they will assess you in your medicine domain. They will assess you in your general surgery domain. In the medicine domain, they will assess you in your psychiatry, gastroenterology, hepatology, ENT, and all those aspects. General surgery, they will assess general surgery and all the other things. So these are the modules. I think there are 30 different modules. And this is not a difficult exam, actually. So the next stop is med revisions, which is a little bit not concise, perhaps. It's a little bit descriptive. In Plab 1, in Plabable, you have a very short description of every question, but in med revision you have a very big description. So if you are one who have a lot of time and he's easy, so he could choose med revision in terms of preparing. And med revisions and Plabable is pretty much same, but make sure that you always subscribe to Plab 1 keys, which is very essential, because it's important, because when you read something from textbook, then you will be able to have some knowledge in your mind. You will retain something, and then when you go on to Plabable, med revision, question banks, and then this will be very, very easy for you to answer all those questions. Aman Arora, he's a GP in England, and he's a very good teacher, and he has a company called Aurora Medical Education. So he runs a lot of resources, a lot of courses. So Plab 1, Plab 2, MSRA, and all those I think he also runs MRCP 1, 2 as well. So he's a very good, and his I think course is a little bit expensive. So Plab 1 mainly comprises of all these four resources: Plab 1, Plabable, Plab 1 keys, med revisions, and Aman Arora. Here is one thing which is very, very important. If you go on to the GMC website, they have very clear instructions regarding the resources which you really wanted to choose. They said, we don't recommend anyone to choose any resource because we don't manage them, we don't see them, and we don't audit them. So these are your personal individual choices. So wherever you find peace, you can go. You can buy Plabable, which is cheap. You can buy Plab 1 keys, med revisions, and Aman Arora. It depends on you. Important thing, the time duration. A lot of us are, when I passed my Plab 1, I was doing a house job, and I think 90% of Plab aspirants are normally in their house job when they are, preparing for the Plab exams or OET. So it is obviously, like Dr. Mudassir said, it depends on the individual person and the priorities and the background knowledge they have. If you have a very sound knowledge in your final years, then Plab 1 is a piece of cake. You could easily, have a, grab on it, and you can easily pass it. Right. So the duration, I would recommend 3 months. 3 months of duration is really enough for anyone to pass Plab 1. In the first month, you would collect information, you would look all those aspects which you have to cover. I would recommend everyone to use the blueprints from the GMC website. Go onto the GMC website, search Plab guide, and you will find the blueprints of the Plab 1. And also make sure that UKMLA is not coming. So don't need to go onto the UKMLA site or thinking too much about what's going on about the UKMLA. If I prepare for the Plab 1 and they give exam slightly according to the UKMLA, so I would be caught in that. So don't worry, they have very visible instructions on their site. They said we are not going to change in 2024, so rest assured you all are safe. So 3 months for the Plab 1 preparation. Depends, you could take 5 months as well if you have time. But the gist here is that you have to book Plab 1 seat first. A lot of people have to wait a year, half year, 3 months for the Plab 1 seat. Just start preparing now if you have a OET exam in your hand. Right. It is very important to know that there are certain websites. If you are, thinking to go, for the Plab journey, so these are the websites which are very, very important, and these websites will definitely help you throughout your Plab journey and throughout your career in United Kingdom. So the first website is Good Medical Practice by GMC. All the regulations, all the rules, all the guidelines of the practice, all the criterias are there. A lot of different scenarios are there, so you can go there. You can search anything you want to know. So it's very good. You can always email GMC if you have any query. You can always email GMC or use WhatsApp handle. It's very good. NICE guidelines are very important. For every disease or every clinical scenario, there is a guideline. So go onto NICE website and type in your preferred disease or preferred medical subject and press enter, and you have all those informations and the updated guidelines. It's very important to know that a lot of questions, a lot of the Plab questions, they comes from these guidelines. Patient information is also important. It's similar to NICE CKS, and it's a little bit patient oriented. A lot of patients, when they have some query, they go online on the Google, they search their disease or their condition or signs and symptoms, so it comes under the patient information. So it's an individual website, so you can use that as well. NHS website is very important, and it helps you in your Plab 2 exam for the signs and symptoms and the idea how I can ask questions in individual cases. Dr. Hassan Rizwan shortly will discuss about these things, and you can use all these 4 websites. Here, a practice question. Please read this question and answer. Choose. This is actually from the GMC website. So this is the actual question. The actual question looks like the same, similar to the GMC, the practice question. So let me read the question. An 88-year-old man has a basal cell carcinoma on his forehead, which requires excision. He has dementia. The clinical nurse feels he is not competent to give consent for surgery. Which is the most appropriate action for obtaining consent? A, ask a psychiatrist to assess his cognitive function, ask his general practitioner to sign the consent form, ask his wife to sign the consent form, ask the patient to sign the consent form, patient itself, and ask the surgeon to assess his mental capacity. So if you could, just comment your answers. Just take your time. Yumna Sharif said, ask the wife to answer the consent form. Wife. Oh, this is a bit spooky. Why would you want him to ask his wife? Okay. The wife. Everyone is saying about the wife. Wow, wife. Right. Any other answers? Anyone in the favor of E? Right, Ahmed Masood. Ahmed Masood is asking assess the mental capacity. Good. Heather Ali Khan E. Maha Arshad E. Ramina Iftikhar A. Right, just let's move on to the answer for this question. Ask the surgeon to assess his mental capacity. Why? If you let me just go on back and just see the person itself has a basal cell carcinoma on his forehead and requires excision, and he has got dementia, which is keyword here, dementia. The clinical nurse, which is obviously ward-based nurse, is not competent to give consent for the surgery. Feels that the patient is not, is got dementia and is not able to give the consent. So the important thing here is to know that he has dementia and he's in the hospital for the basal cell carcinoma surgery, and the surgeon is itself there. So we have to assess his mental capacity. Why we have to assess his mental capacity, not assess. So GMC guideline says that if somebody has dementia, we always have to assess the mental capacity. When you're going to go, inshallah, into the NHS, you will have to do a lot of mental capacities, mental assessment every day. In the different hospital, they call them MCA, they call mental capacity act, they call them mental assessment, all the names given to the same thing. So the patient and doctor would make the decision together, not the wife. So maybe wife have dementia, so we don't make assumption in the Plab examination. So don't go for the assumptions. Move on to the next question. A 21 years old woman has increasing sway pain in her left leg. She had an undisplaced fracture of midshaft of her left tibia 2 days ago, which was treated conservatively with a plaster cast. Her toes of arm and pulses are present, which is the most important immediate action that we have to take. Elevate the limb up, refer to the orthopedics, remove the plaster cast, replace the cast with increasing padding or X-ray for the fracture site to look what is going on inside. Remove the cast. I think a lot of people thinking about the compartment syndrome, which is obviously correct answer. So this is a clinical question. This is how the clinical question actually looks like. So we don't need compartment syndrome for the patient. So we have to remove the plaster cast, and then after examination, we could always have another option. So these are the questions. These are the questions actually the GMC set for the Plab 1 exam. Let's move on to the question and answer session, because I myself have to read the question and answer them. Okay. So the Plab 1 seats are expected to release on 2nd of November. Make sure you have subscribed there, follow their Facebook and Twitter, and obviously you should be on the different Plab pages, and yeah. So you can have follow them. So you're gonna have all the first-hand information from them. Plab 1 keys link, PDF link. I don't have any PDF link for Plab 1 keys. Make sure everyone you buy the updated version. Don't go for cheap substitutes. They will harm you. Furqan, do we have any other question here? Yeah, one of our one of the member was asking that is he able to take MRCP1 during his House job, yes, you can take MRCP1 during your house job. House job is not necessary for this. If you have any other question, please make sure you ask me, and I'll answer these questions at the end. So move on to our next speaker. We already getting too late. Let me just check Dr. Hassan. I think Dr. Hassan is not here. Right. So he has got some technical error. So let me just complete this session. So I myself will discuss with it for the Plab 2 as well. So this guide, actually, Dr. Hassan is not here. He has got some technical issues. He's in Pakistan. So let me just quickly go on to. So in the Plab 2 guide, obviously, we will discuss about the expenses, next available date, patron of Plab 2, academies, pass percentages, materials for the preparation. Pass percentage is quite low for the Plab 2, 64.8% as of today. In 2022, 64.8 people passed, because a lot of people are, everyone is thinking to go, get out from Pakistan, because things are really, really hard getting into FCPS inductions and all that. Things are going on, and people are just desperate, and they wanting to go into different countries like USA, United Kingdom, Australia. So passing percentage is low because a lot of people are applying. Many people are applying, and they have less time, so they squeeze themselves. So this is how they are not able to prepare well in time, and they got failed in exam. And Plab 2 is very, very sort of cheeky, you would say, a sort of tricky exam. You would never assume, or you would never anticipate if you're going to pass or fail. So by the end of the time, when you have until you have a result, you can't catch a nice breath. So expenses, which is a very important question for a lot of us, because we have to pay all these expenses. So for the Plab 1 is 255. For Plab 2 exam is £934. Academy, you have to choose academy. It's obviously depends on you. GMC has their say on academies. They don't deal with the academy, so it on your individual choice if you want to take any course from academy. So it roughly takes around 600 to 650 pounds. Hostel, if you will go to UK, you will stay for a month, then have to take a hostel, or you have to take a private accommodation, which costs around 400 to 800, depends on the area where you live. GMC registration fees is £260, which you will definitely give when you will apply if you are a recent graduate. If your graduation is more than 5 years ago, so you have to pay around £460. Flight depends, 800 to £1,000 return flight. And obviously for the visa, you have to show around £300 in your bank account. And approximately it's around 12 to 15 lakhs in Pakistani rupees. Next available slot. So in terms of the Plab slots, they are always available. You don't need to worry. Once you pass Plab 1, you'll definitely get the Plab 2 slots. There are a lot of Plab 2 slots. Plab 2, they only take the Plab 2 exam in England, in Manchester. There are 2 centers, Hardman Street, Hardman Square. So you always have to come to England for the Plab exam. Slots for Plab 2 for 2023 have already been announced. So obviously, they always have seats on their website. So if somebody cancels the seat, so you have a chance to book. So there is no rush in Plab 2. There are a lot of seats for the Plab 2. They know that a lot of people are coming to England, so they have availabilities. They are running tests 3 times a day, sometimes 2 times a day. So every day in particular, except Sundays, I guess. Patron. So for the Plab 2, which is OSCE based exam, not like Plab 1, which is a clinical scenario exams where you have scenarios from the MCQs question. So in terms of Plab 2 is a station based exam like OSCE. Normally we have in our medical colleges as well. So in final year, third year, fourth year. I think all of you guys have gone through all these OSCE stations. So in total there are 16 stations. There are few aspects they generally look into in terms of stations. So 5 to 7 stations comes from ethics, where we have different scenarios with the patient doctor, with the doctor, with the some other aspects as well, in terms of LGBT scenarios from the workspace, GP scenarios, hospital scenarios. So these are pretty much same stations. Normally we have seen a lot of things in our house job, just the cultural difference. If we minus the culture, we have almost similar situations. Counseling stations. So in England, there is a lot of say going on consultation and counseling. So 5 to 7 stations from counseling. History-based stations where you have to diagnose the case. So history and examination of 4 to 5 stations. Usually a station runs up around 8 minutes, and you have 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. You will stand outside the station, you will read the station, you go into the station, and you will perform. 1 or 2 stations are from prescription. You have to write the prescription, which is very, very easy. You don't need to think too much for this. Yeah, so mannequins and Simmons, which is very, very important. And it is, I think, some people say you have to pass mannequin or Simmons if you need to pass the Plab too. I don't think so, because if you have already passed, 12 stations and you fail mannequin, you still pass. So mannequin is actually a robot, basically a dummy of a human. So it has a different, clinical sounds. It'll produce. They'll simulate. Basically, you will feel the pulse. You will have a chest sounds, and he will speak actually with you. Right. So next up is choice of academy, which is a common dilemma. So here I say there are a lot of academies: Swami Academy, Samson, Aspire, Mohiuddin, Friends, Dr. Asia. So the best one where I pass is Samson, and their passing ratio is 95% or something. A lot of people pass through Samson, but a lot of people pass through Aspire as well. Similarly, Mohiuddin and Swami as well. Swami is pioneer. A lot of people say that's an old school guy. So people would, definitely come and go. It depends, obviously, to individual, decision. I don't think I would go into pretty much details into the Swami located in Manchester. They have excellent teacher. They've got their own simulators. They've got Simmons. Their mocks are not the best. In terms of Samson, it's located in Manchester, just near to, it's in Salford actually. So which is around 5-10 minutes drive from, the GMC Center, where you would take your Plab to. They have a website which is called Genius website. So for every case, for every scenario, they have a video. And Dr. Samson itself have a very vast experience. And obviously there are a few cons and few pros. The pro is they take 3 mocks, which will drill you through. They will drill you through all of the scenarios, all of the best possible scenarios that would come in the Plab exam, and you will feel really energetic when you go to Plab exam. Like myself, I took 3 mocks from this academy, Samson, and I was absolutely, sure. I was energetic. I was absolutely, I have a peace of mind, and I was ready to go, and I smashed the exam. And this is how they will train you. They have a best teachers. So Mohiuddin is a very good teacher. The spoon feeder actually. If you are someone who wants spoon feeding, then definitely go to Mohiuddin. He will teach you in a very sort of Asian style. Although he's from Africa, from Arab country, but he will teach you like a baby, like a spoon feeding baby. He will teach you in terms of our Molvis and our mullahs. They do taqreer, and so he will definitely teach you like that. So be very you will definitely enjoy him. Okay. Aspire, similar to Samson, very good academy. Similarly, pass-fail ratio. Friends, I don't want to go into this. Right. So strategies for the Plab 2 exam, how we can, ultimately start our, journey for Plab 2. To myself, is obviously read through the notes first of all. Take Aspire notes, which are easily available online, and go on to reading just for a few days. Watch few videos online, and you have a basic ideology. What is Plab 2 exam actually? And after that, go for the academy as early as possible. Choose academy, sign up for the academy, pay their fee, and then get the course from them, and just believe in whatever academy you choose. If you don't believe, if you do assumptions, then this exam is like I said, it's a very tricky exam. So you would fail by the end of the day. If you go onto different platforms, different academies, that will make yourself a sort of you're going to mismanage things. Geeky Medicine, it's a very important and a very helpful YouTube channel. They have a very good website as well. They have history taking techniques. They have clinical examination techniques. They have different scenarios on their website. RCA YouTube channel is also important, and it's very helpful. So just find anywhere you find peace, you would find information, you would find. So go on and just scroll all these things. But in this webinar, what is important, what is makes this webinar important, that we recommend you Aspire and Samsung Academy, not any other academy, and we recommend you the Aspire notes from the very scratch. If you want to start your journey from very scratch, then Aspire notes are very, very important and a very good choice for you. And after that, wherever you go, Aspire or Samsung, you would have all the information, first-hand information from them, and they will guide you in a very best manner, and you will definitely pass your Plab exam, inshallah. So total expense, OET, Plab 1, Plab 2, it's around 15 to 20 lakhs approximately, because the currency of the Pakistani currencies has gone down. It's a very rundown these days, and yeah, it's around this 15 to 20 lakhs. But then the important thing here is to know that you don't have to spend all of this amount at one go. You have to spend this amount step by step. So you don't need to, just lock yourself in this box. Right. At the end, we'll definitely take questions now from now onwards. Fill out the feedback forms to get your e-certificates. This session is obviously accredited in United Kingdom, and you could use this certificate in your CV when you are making CV, your portfolio for jobs in United Kingdom. So this will help you. Believe me, this will definitely help you, and this is sort of a booster in your exam, because when you're applying jobs, they will see if this person have some background knowledge in terms of work-life balance in England, if the person is coming from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. So this is a very important question in the minds of the doctors, the panel that is taking your interview, that why you are coming to England. Have you got any information regarding the cultural difference, regarding how is life actually in England and how NHS works? So this is important webinar that you have already attended. I'm very thankful to all of you guys who have attended. And yeah, so let's move on to the question answer session. You can ask questions now. You can unmute your mic. I think we can allow you to unmute yourself and ask questions. So let me just check if you could. You can search here. Yeah, you can turn on your mics and you can ask any question if you have, allowed to ask. Just bear in mind that all of us are very, very good doctors. Yeah, Talha Said, please go on. You can You can ask me a question. Unmute your mic, please. Talha, you can unmute your mic, please. Anusha, you can unmute your mic and ask the question, please. I don't know if there is an. Yeah, now you can. I think I just have. Yeah, Talha, go on. Now you can unmute now.
Miss Tala Said, I am from FRBMC, fourth year medical student. Sir, I want to ask about my OET. Sir, I want to ask that which academy is best for the preparation of OET? Is there any academy or we will prepare by on ourselves?
Yeah, you can prepare your on your own because if you go onto the OET website, I think if Dr. Mudassir says is the best person to answer this question. I think he's gone or still. But if you go onto the OET website, on the OET blogs, and there is an educational website on the OET portal, you can have a lot of new things there. And in terms of the academy, there's no actually academy in Pakistan for OET preparation. There are only few people who just to give you some idea in terms of preparation. Just like that Dr. Mudassir said, he used to have an online session every week for the Plab students. So I don't think there is an online academy, but there are few online portals like E2 Learning, which is very good. I myself use Dr. Mudassir's and Jason Notes, and I passed easily. It's a very easy exam. You just have to calm down yourself, and it's not like something that you can't really do. It's doable. And yeah, E2 Learning, and I think I'm not sure, to be honest, that if OET itself have their own academy. But if you go onto YouTube, there are a lot of videos, there are a lot of teachers from the OET site itself, from the OET official YouTube channel. So you can go there and pass. Just make sure that you have Jason Notes, so you can do practice your listening, reading, writing, and all those modules. And make sure you have a grammar file. There's a grammar file, English grammar file, which will help you in terms of preparation for all the nitty-gritties of English grammar in terms of writing. I hope I answered the question.
Sir, can you tell me how long it takes to
I
get a
wanted
job
to
after
ask
playing Plab
if the seats for the Plab 1 exam only become available every year in November, or does the portal open at other times of the year as well?
Yeah, it depends. It normally opens few times a year, and now they have started another thing that they post a lot of information regarding opening window. So like I said before, you always have to have GMC Facebook. You follow them and just turn on the notifications and follow them actively. They always upload all these information, and do follow a lot of there are a lot of Facebook groups. So you can easily have these informations in terms of when they're going to open the window for the Plab 1. Any other question?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Regarding also another question regarding studying for the ethical aspects of, because like in Pakistan the practice varies a lot and consent and all these things tend to be very nebulous. So where would we should what resource should we use to get acquainted with the UK's idea of consent and ethics in doctor-patient relationships?
Right, in terms of doctor-patient relationships, I think I mentioned the good medical practice. The GMC is good medical practice, which sets us all the rules, all the ethical scenarios you will encounter in everyday practice when you're going to join NHS. It is not a rocket science. It's not a very much different. It's pretty much same. The patients are almost same. In England, I think they are more well learned. The patient would know about the disease, so you would always have to have a very sound and a very very much grip on your sayings, what you are going to say. That really matters. So in terms of knowing how the NHS system is different, good medical practice is very important to have a grip on all those aspects which are important. Good medical practice, patient information, and NHS guidelines, the NHS website itself. So these are the things which I think these are pretty much enough for you to learn in terms of all these ethical things. There is not too much different, to be honest. Yeah. Any other question, please?
How
So I have to ask
important
about
is
MRCS part A. MRCS part A during house job.
Yeah.
Would it be wise to give MRCS part A during our house job? I have just graduated.
Yeah, you can give MRCS during your house job if you have a good 5 months preparation. 5 months, 4 months, it depends. So if you have a good preparation and you know that you're going to pass it, then give it, because it's a little bit expensive. So make sure that you have a nice grip on MRCS exam before applying for that. But you can always give during your house job.
how
I think someone else was asking a question.
how important?
Yeah.
How
I think Anusha has some issues. Daniel Zahir, could you ask your question, please?
Yes, sir. I really want to ask, is clinical attachment really important for applying a job in UK?
It depends, brother. I didn't have any clinical attachment and I got the job. It depends. It's actually depends on how you set out your profile, how you make your CV actually, and how wise you are and how honest you are with yourself, and how you present yourself to the consultants. So but I would say that clinical attachment is also important, because this will definitely adds on to your CV, and you will have a few references when you do your clinical attachment in one of the hospitals in England. So sometimes they do give you a chance to get an interview, direct interview for the hospital where you are doing a clinical attachment. So clinical attachment is very, very important, but it all depends on the luck.
And so what would be the best time to do a clinical attachment in UK?
The best time, I would say, after your Plab 2. When you are in England and you just gave your Plab 2 exam, just make sure that you start applying after Plab 1, and then when you're in England and you just finish your Plab 2 exam before passing Plab 2 exam. You're just waiting for your Plab results, and you're in England, then you're just going to go there, register, and then, because it's a little bit lengthy system. It's a lengthy system. You have to wait for your all the occupational tests done. They'll do your blood test and all those things, and after that they will invite you for your 2-3 weeks clinical attachment. I think now they started charging for that. There's a pretty much £600 cost for the clinical attachment. Some of the hospitals they give you free, but most of them are charging now.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Ibrahim.
Yes. I wanted to ask, how important is it to have research or any publications under your belt?
Please unmute your
order
mic
to...
and ask any question if you have.
Am I audible?
Let me just quickly go into WhatsApp and just have a quick look on if somebody has. Yeah, so Zohra Jabbar, she asked, how would we divide 3 months prep for Plab 1? So in terms of Plab 1, I have a platform which is called Soban, which is completely 110% free. And you can use that. It's free for everyone. I have few videos. I've made a few videos in terms of Plab 1 preparation. And I have an article basically on Plab 1. How would you, divide your time which topics you have to study at first to begin with, and then by the end of the day, how would you, actually, divide your time. So 3 months are pretty much enough. So we have another question, which is very important, from one of the doctors. She said, don't take my name. So yeah, so she's a British national. She's in Pakistan, and she's in final years, and she's looking forward to join a standalone program, which is a foundation year program. Let me just reread. Yeah, so she is looking forward to apply for FY1 after giving the Plab exam, which is because for the FY1 program, foundation year 1 program, you always have to have Plab in your hand. You have to have a full GMC registration in your hand, and then you will be able to apply for the foundation year program. But for the foundation program, it's very it's a sort of stigma that a lot of foreign graduates will ended up not getting into the foundation year programs itself, because the criteria for that is very, very high. You have to have all A's in OET and 7.5 in each in IELTS, and you have you should have a very nice portfolio, and you have to, I think you have to pass exam as well, which is AKT exam. So these are the the cracks, or sort of cracks, for us to walk through. So it's a very, very difficult thing. I would recommend to get a full GMC registration and apply for FY2 jobs or junior clinical fellow jobs, which is a very pretty much straightforward route. Don't get into the hard things. Don't make things harder for you. And if you luckily got into the FY1, so in terms of you are FY1, so it means that your GMC would definitely cut down your GMC license to a provisional license. They would step down, and you will have a provisional license. After completing FY1 and FY2, you would have a full license to practice, because in England, house job is for 2 years, not for 1 year. And for all the doctors who are coming from Pakistan, India, through the Plab route, they always have bypassed these FY1, FY2. They have full license to practice, so they are junior doctors. So they are pretty much senior than all of the UK home graduates. Dr. Maria, you can unmute yourself and ask question.
I want to ask a question about researches and articles. Are they necessary to get job?
Yeah, a very good question. Research article. And another thing is audit. So I have an article on audit and research itself. So in terms of audit, I will share that link to the this group, and you will have an idea. But let me just break down those things. So in terms of research, make sure that you have a very legit research. A lot of people, take different routes to get a research, get their name in the research. Because if you mention something in your CV that you have research for something, and you spend few months for this research, this and that, so they will definitely ask you questions on that research. So don't make yourself harder for yourself to get through all those questions, because every small thing that you will mention in your CV, they will ask you questions on that. In terms of research and articles, if you have, which is good, it is added point to your CV, added salt, pinch of salt on your meal. So have all these things if you have legitimately. And in terms of audit, I will share the link. Audit is a big topic. I don't really want to go into the depth of that. Let's get another question. Yamna Sharif.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. So I wanted to ask that while we're talking about research, let's say if somebody has done previous research but they have not yet published it, is it a good idea to add that in your CV? And I also had another question. Is it difficult for international medical graduates to land into surgical specialties as compared to medicine?
Right, very good. 2 questions. So first question, if you have unpublished research or article, you can add. You can definitely add. You just mentioned that it's. I'm still working on these 2 things, and I will definitely, publish soon. when I get slot or time or whatever reason you will mention. So make sure that once you add it in your CV, you have that thing in back of mind that I would definitely be asked by these questions at any point by any of the panel from the interviewers. So, and the second question, I forgot the second question. What was your second question?
My second question was, is it more difficult for international medical graduates to land into a surgical training course as compared to medicine?
So in terms of medicine surgery, it's not difficult to get into the surgery because I've seen a lot of my seniors in the surgery, so they are the best one to answer this question. But it's pretty much same. It depends on the slots, because surgery, they have few more slots in medicine, general internal medicine, and they have less seats in surgery. So this is a sort of a route thing that we could have a little bit difficulty in getting into the surgical slots. But a lot of people get into surgery. It's not that much difficult, because emergency medicine, which is I think a sort of surgery thing, a lot of people are expert, a lot of people are consultant in emergency medicine, while from Pakistan, India. And I've seen a lot of surgeons in England, like most of the surgeons are Pakistani Indian. So don't think that you won't be able to get, you'll definitely be able to get into surgery.
Okay, thank you so much. I actually have one last question. Pardon me if you don't mind. Okay,
No.
so regarding the visa, so I've heard that if you are on a dependent visa, you cannot like work in the UK. Is that true, or just something that I heard?
No, that's absolutely wrong information, Nadia. If you are on dependent visa, if your husband is a student, or if your husband is from EEA, or he's got European visa or something, or he's in England and your spouse or something, you're dependent, you have all the rights. You can do job. There's no restriction. There's no restriction for 20 hours. Like all the students have 20-hour restrictions. So you can work 24 hours and you can claim all these benefits.
All right, thank you so much.
Welcome. Anusha, if you have another question, please.
Sir?
Yep.
Sir, I want to ask one more question. It is beyond the today's topic. A big questions for medical student is that many of my fellows are also preparing German language. They told me that there is a German language barrier in Germany. Is it true for medical students?
I didn't get your question. You said that there is a barrier between the German language in the Germany. The
Yes,
people
sir.
who...
For medical students, there are no any test for the medical students. So it is true, sir, or not?
I don't have any information regarding Germany.
Okay,
sorry,
okay.
I don't have any information from Germany.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Do we have any other question? Please unmute your mic. So we're gonna wrap up this session today within 5 minutes. So just wait for 5 minutes. Okay. Right. Somebody asked about the electives in the UK, which is the question I have answered already, which is clinical attachment. So there is no way that you're going to get into the UK electives, because electives are more prominent in United States. So in England, you can get observership when you have a visa, or you are on, you are in England. Otherwise, observership visa, or there's no such a visa until you have passed Plab 1. After Plab 1, and you can go there and you can have all these things. Do we have any other question?
Hello, sir. I want to ask the question: is it possible for us to do a clinical audit during our final year MBBS?
Yes, you can do. I have actually a very nice, a very descriptive article on audit. I will definitely share. So it's a very easy, but do things legitimately and do things lawfully, because they will quote you somewhere if you haven't done any audit, and then because the culture, like audit culture, is not common in Pakistan. I haven't seen any audit going on in Pakistan. The other name for the audit is quality improvement project, or quality improvement research article, or sort of thing, or process, quality improvement process.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other question? So a lot of people are asking, why don't we have this conversation in Urdu? I think because we're gonna upload this, all tutorial or session on YouTube. I'll break down this session and I'll upload online. So definitely in next session, if you guys agree, we're gonna do another session with with a team of different doctors in Urdu. If you just raise your hands if you want this session next time in Urdu.
No,
Or you
it's okay. It's okay. It's good
Sir,
in English because everyone will give their exams in English. So I think it's good if you do also next time also if you do in English. Okay.
sure,
I
sir.
was just. And by the way, when are you going to meet me? You still here
He's
in
my friend,
Pakistan?
Dr. Ahmed. He's guys. He's my school fellow and also my medical school fellow, college fellow. Definitely, I'll meet you, brother. And inshallah, we're gonna have another session. We will discuss few more things, and have a very nice evening. And please pray for me as well and yourself as well. And we're just going to close this session for now. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye bye.